Okay, let's just jump right into this. What if, and really think about this for a second, what if every single encrypted secret you or your organization has ever sent over a network is already compromised? Every banking record, every API key, every classified cable, just sitting on a server somewhere waiting to be unlocked. It's a pretty heavy realization, especially if you're the IT professional actually tasked with keeping that data secure. But as we're going to see today, this isn't some sci-fi movie plot. It's a present-day operational reality.
Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're talking about surviving Q-Day. We are unpacking the imminent, structural threat that quantum computing poses to modern encryption. Basically, we're looking at the exact point when a quantum computer gets powerful enough to completely shatter the public key cryptography holding the internet together.
Here's our roadmap for today. We'll look at the arrival of Q-Day, why current encryption fails, the harvest now, decrypt later threat, and finally, your post-quantum action plan. All right, part 1. The arrival of Q-Day.
So, for years, we were all told, hey, don't worry, this is a problem for the 2040s. It was a nice, comforting myth, right? Well, scrap that. Google recently, and very aggressively, accelerated their internal Q-Day migration timeline to 2029. When the company running one of the largest quantum computing programs on the planet tells you they're migrating their own infrastructure by 2029, that's a massive red flag. Every IT and security team needs to take that incredibly seriously.
Why the sudden jump? Well, the timeline collapsed because of a huge breakthrough in quantum error correction, specifically using something called QLDPC codes. Now, you don't need a physics degree to get the so what here. Previously, we thought you'd need millions of physical qubits to break encryption, but with this new error correction, those hardware requirements dropped to roughly 10,000 qubits. That puts 2048-bit RSA vulnerability right in our near-term reach, and P256 elliptic curve cryptography, the exact standard securing your TLS sessions right now, could theoretically be broken in just 10 days by a capable machine. The math has officially changed from someday to years, not decades.
Moving on to part 2, why current encryption actually fails. As IT pros, you already know the drill with symmetric versus asymmetric encryption. Symmetric stuff like AES-256, it's actually doing fine. It might get weakened slightly, but it survives by simply doubling the key size. Easy enough. But asymmetric encryption, your RSA and ECC protocols, faces total catastrophic failure. And that is a huge problem, because asymmetric encryption is the very foundation of your TLS handshakes, your VPNs, your digital signatures, and certificate chains. It's the absolute choke point for securely exchanging keys over any untrusted network.
If you want to visualize it, think of our current asymmetric encryption like a heavy-duty combination lock on a vault. A classical computer sits there trying one combination at a time, sequentially. That would take billions of years. But a quantum computer running Shor's algorithm, it acts like a magical pickpocket. It leverages quantum physics to explore vast numbers of possibilities all at the exact same time, finding those underlying prime factors or discrete logarithms almost instantly. It attacks the very foundation of the math itself.
Which brings us to part 3, harvest now, decrypt later.
This is where it gets real. Harvest now, decrypt later, or HNDL. This is a cyber attack strategy where adversaries, usually nation-states, are actively intercepting your encrypted network traffic right now and dumping it into massive data warehouses. Sure, they can't read it today, but they are hoarding it with the explicit intent of decrypting it the exact second a cryptographically relevant quantum computer comes online. It's literally a ticking time bomb for your data.
And they aren't just hoarding everything indiscriminately. They're going after high-value targets, health and medical records, financial transactions, classified government cables, IP and trade secrets. But if you're in engineering, please look closely at that third bullet point, long-lived API keys and service credentials. If you have data or credentials that need to stay secure for more than 5 to 10 years, they are already fully exposed. The countdown clock started the moment you transmitted that data.
There's a quote that perfectly captures how terrifying this is. You cannot patch a data breach that occurred 5 years ago. Think about that. In normal cybersecurity, you find a bug, you patch it, you move on. But with HNDL, if an attacker scraped your TLS session in 2024, no patch in 2029 is going to save that data. You can't retroactively encrypt it. The damage was done the second it was intercepted. The future decryption is just when the damage finally becomes legible to the attacker.
Christian Papathanasiou, an expert in this space, uses a brilliant analogy for this. He describes our current cryptographic infrastructure as a vehicle running on compromised tires. It's functionally adequate for now, right? Your HTTPS padlock still shows up green in the browser, but it is vulnerable to abrupt, catastrophic failure the absolute second that quantum stress threshold is exceeded.
Okay, part 4. The Post-Quantum Action Plan.
We need to talk about what you're actually going to do tomorrow morning. Here is a highly effective 3-step framework for your engineering and security teams. Step 1, cryptographic inventory and discovery. Step 2, implement hybrid mode. And Step 3, build crypto agility. Let's break these down quickly.
Look, you literally cannot protect what you can't see. So Step 1 is mapping every single place your systems rely on public key crypto. You have to hunt down those invisible dependencies, every TLS connection, every API call, every code signing cert. You compile all of this into a cryptographic bill of materials, or a CBOM. This is your non-negotiable first step, because swapping out crypto isn't just flipping a switch in a config file, it's a massive infrastructure modernization.
Once you know what you have, Step 2 is turning on hybrid mode. You don't have to rip and replace everything on day 1. Instead, run your classical cryptography, like elliptic curve Diffie-Hellman, right alongside the newly finalized NIST post-quantum algorithms, like ML-Chem. Run them simultaneously. This acts as a safety net. If the new quantum math turns out to have a bug, your classical security is still there holding the line. But if a quantum computer breaks your classical algorithm, the post-quantum layer protects you. It is the absolute best of both worlds while we transition.
And that leads right into Step 3, which is honestly the biggest architectural shift your team has to make: building crypto agility. What does that mean? It's the architectural ability to swap out cryptographic algorithms on the fly without rewriting your app code and without taking your systems offline. Hard-coding specific algorithms into your applications is a legacy mistake, and IT teams need to ditch that habit immediately. You want centralized orchestration so cryptography becomes an adaptable parameter, not a permanent fixture.
Now, if you're sitting there wondering, okay, but when do I actually have to do this? Let's look at the new federal mandates, because these deadlines are very real. Under standards like CNSA 2.0, the U.S. government is mandating post-quantum crypto in new acquisitions by January 2027. By 2030, quantum-resistant signatures are mandated. And by 2035, full quantum-resistant infrastructure is strictly required. Even if you aren't a federal agency, if you are anywhere in their supply chain, or if you touch sensitive healthcare or financial data, this compliance clock is already ticking for you too.
We've covered a ton of ground today, from that rapidly accelerating 2029 timeline to the terrifying reality of harvest now, decrypt later. But as we've seen, the solution isn't to just panic. It's to methodically build out a crypto-agile infrastructure. So I want to leave you with one final thought to take back to your teams. Your data's countdown has already started. Is your infrastructure crypto-agile enough to beat the clock? Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and seriously, go start that cryptographic inventory today.